It is a known fact that people are very visual. You know, the first thing they do is they look directly at you, at your head, at your face, before they even get to the body. Despite what people think, people might think, you know, people automatically look at the body. No, they immediately, especially if you're a person who is into eye contact, you look directly to the face. And so from barbering to hair is very important because people want that to be the first impression when people see them. Nobody wants to go around and their hair looks crazy. You know, you go on an interview, in a job interview, you're sitting behind, you know, on the other side of a desk or a table, and someone is on the other side, so they're looking at you. And they feel as if you don't look the part visually, then they won't hire you. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how smart you are, your degrees. Somebody may come in with a degree just like yours. But if they look a particular way, they're going to get that job. I always believe that. I believe that people, that's why I've been getting a haircut every week since I was around 11. I would tell my mother, I want to go get a haircut. And my mother, she said when I was 2 years old, she took me to the barber shop and put me in a chair, and the barbers were in amazement because they said I was the only kid that had been in there who just sat. And I was still. And I wanted my haircut, you know, so I've always wanted a haircut. I always knew that when I got my haircut, I always felt better, to this day, you know.
My relationship with old Vernon Martin. Again, today is our 15th year Salon anniversary with each other, and Vernon has been so pivotal. I tell everybody, and I will shout this to the moon, in my career when it pertains to my celebrity clientele. You know, so many people in our industry are a little selfish with sharing and caring. And many years ago when I started with Vernon, he was doing, you know, Aretha Franklin, Kerry Washington, Shonda Rhimes. And one particular weekend of award show here, he couldn't make it to do someone really big. I think it was Gayle King. And he said instantly, say, Q, I'm gonna send you, you know, you my next meeting, you the next, you know, big protege, we're gonna send you. And just him caring that much and allowing me into that kind of professional space meant the world to my celebrity clientele, and I would not have that without Vernon.
My name is Vernon Martin. I'm from Washington, DC. I am a salon owner and a hairstylist. I've been one for over 35 years. I grew up in an area called, it was Northeast DC, over off of H Street, between Florida and H. So you had Florida, you had Morton Street, Orleans, L Street, K Street. I lived at K, which was 2 or 3 blocks from Florida. Oh, I've been there. So I always knew I wanted to be a hairstylist. You know, when I was very young, I was raised by my grandmother, grandfather, and my mother. It was the 3 of them. And I always loved watching television because I was the only child for many years before I had a sister. Most people don't even know I have a sister. And because I'm much older than her. But we used to watch like the Grammys and the American Music Awards. And I used to love, for some reason, I was gravitated toward the Gladys Knight and, you know, and Pat LaBelle, you know, their hairstyles. And I would get on the couch behind my grandmother and mother, and I would do stuff in their hair. And my grandfather, he would look like, what is he doing? And then my mother was like, let him, and he said, just let him do it. And I would just put all kinds of rollers and things in their hair, and that was it. I started off, I went to a school. I told my mother, I graduated from Dunbar High School. And my mother, I was having so much fun, you know, and I was like, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to leave DC, because DC in the 80s were just so much fun, to me anyway. And my mother, she was like, what are you going to do? You know, and I had been accepted to a few schools, and I was like, I don't want to go to college. And she was like, but you got to do something. So I said, I'm going to go to hair school. And she said, okay. You know, and so she said, I'll pay for it if that's what you want to do. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, you can go to hair school. You want to do something? So I went to hair school, to school called Scanners. I've always wanted to go. I wanted to go where all the known people went, where it was the hottest school in DC. You know, we had got word that the lady had took some of her students to Paris, to London to learn to cut hair. We'll be out there soon. And I was like, I'm going there. That's where I want to go. And so I went to Scanners Beauty Academy, and I had gotten good. And so they would take me, I was a freshman and sophomore, they would take me out of class, and you're not supposed to do that, and put me on the floor and have me do people's hair. And so I caught on very fast. And so I got arrogant. I did. And I've never been since that day. And this lady, one of my teachers, she said, we're gonna send you somewhere you need to go. She said, because we have a friend, it was her and another guy, he was a teacher. He said, we have a friend who needs some help, and she is the baddest hairstylist in this city. She can't nobody cut like her, can't nobody do what she do. And you need to be brought down a little bit. And I think she's the person to do it. And she works at this salon called Aideen's Hair Salon. And I was like, okay. So I went to the salon to work, and this little lady, she's like Stephanie Mills. She actually just passed. She's like Stephanie Mills. And she, I walked in and I started working for her. Her name was Sonia Coates. And that was it. The rest was history.
Oh my Lord, over what, 30 years?
Yes.
Over 30 years? It's probably, yes, way over 30 years I have. This is the man here. He is the man. I mean, no one can do it other than he can. I mean, he takes very good care of your hair, very healthy wise, and he just knows his job. Not alone, he's a very good person, you know, and he's always been a good person. So I've always loved him as a friend and as my hairstylist. I will continue to come to him, no matter how old I get.
My clientele have changed so much over the years. It's gone from what people would call, I don't like, because I think it's derogatory, but it's what they used to call them, the hustlerettes. You know, the hustlerettes, and the, I didn't do a lot of, in the beginning, a lot of professional black women. I did a lot of young people because I was young. You know, I knew people from the go-go, a lot of girls from the go-go's, a lot of girls from my high school or women I had grew up with. And as time went on, the lady that we worked for at the time, she's a class act. And she had a lot of friends. She loved my style, the way I dressed, and the way I presented myself. She had introduced me to people who would refer clients to me, who were celebrities. The owner of the shop, she used to want me to sit up front. Because again, the way I dressed was very flashy, you know, the way I dressed, and the kind of type of women that used to sit in my chair. And I had all the girls with the big, beautiful bags and all that. So Aideen used to say, I want you in the front. I want you and your clients to be the first thing people see when they walk in the salon. So I was like, okay. It was the best thing I could have done, because one of the women was a publicist, and her name was Ramon Bain. And she had, at the time, she had Boys II Men and Babyface as her clients. And she was very fond of me. And so I had cut her hair. And then she went back to LA, and she started referring people to me. And then someone had, and then Ramon had just gotten Serena Williams. And she was like, Serena was maybe 18, had just turned 18, and was coming out of those braids and beads. And so Ramon called me and said, I need you to do me a favor. And I said, sure. She said, can you get to New York by 5 in the morning? And I was like, what? Why? She said, I want you to do Serena Williams. And I said, you're kidding me. She said, no. I said, I don't do braids. And she said, no, she's out of them. And she had came on a Jet. There was a Jet magazine cover. She had this blonde weave in her hair. And she said, we don't have anybody to do her hair, and I need you to come to New York. So I jumped in my car. Back then, I just bought a new Pathfinder. And I jumped in my truck and I flew to New York, and one of my friends rode with me, Ange, and we flew to New York. And I got there maybe like 4 in the morning, and then I got maybe an hour sleep, and she was doing David Letterman. And I did her hair, and then boom, it didn't stop. Michelle from Destiny's Child, Gayle King, every time she came to DC, Cicely Tyson, Chrissy Teigen. I traveled with Aretha Franklin for 2 years. Like Carrie just reminded me, I've been doing her hair for 15 years. I didn't even realize that. I always tell people, you be careful what you say and what you do, because people talk and people trust me. I've seen a lot, you know, and for it not to get out and people not to know, people just trust me. People are very, you know, the only person that ever talks about the people is Aretha, because the stories was just too funny. My name matters a lot to me. It does. I worked very, very hard to not only be where I am, but to build my name to the point that I have.
Okay, my name is Arnell Martin. I'm Vernon Martin's son, his only son, and I'm from Washington, DC. Growing up I grew up in the salon. So my first job was sweeping hair in the salon. That was my first job. So seeing how my dad is as a business owner, the care that he had for his employees and or partners, and he just, I feel like he's a great owner. When it comes to that, just in life in general with him, he's a selfless person. He's big on being selfless when it comes to his business, family, his friends, whatever have you.
I've known Vernon all my life, but I've worked with Vernon. March will be, that's my Jordan year, 23 years. He held a lot of titles for me. That's my other dad, my big brother, my employer, and it's been great. Assistants don't stay around that long, so being as though I've been here for 20 plus years, that should tell you something.
I've known Vernon for over 25 years at least. We have been partners rolling up on 10 years this year. Our salons merged 10 years ago. And my work experience, well, it started off as professional, just two business partners merging their salons. And now he is like my brother. It was like an old married couple. He's the first person I talk to in the morning, the last person I talk to at night.
The Black Salon has definitely lost its I remember where people would come there, they would congregate, they would meet, the camaraderie of stylists and other clients, you know, meeting. I know a lot of clients who have gotten jobs, you know, or good advice, or became friends, like sisters, with other women from meeting them in the Black Salon. Legacy means the world to me. I always tell people you have to be very careful what you say to people, how you treat people, because as the saying goes, people always will remember how you treated them. You know, they may not remember certain things, they're gonna remember how you treated them. And so I believe that legacy is very important. You know, I stand strong on that.